Alright, hopefully this is the last video of doing dog portrait. Um, I'm gonna work on some shading in the face, which I feel like needs some erasing and some extra stuff. As you can see, it's important to spend as much time. Well, it's important to spend time on your work. If you don't spend time on your work, people will see that and they will not be as excited about your work as you might be. And if you want people to purchase your work or value your work, it's important that you also value it. And so every piece of art that you make should be something that you feel like you spent sufficient time working on. And no matter who it's for, it should be something that you have put love and kindness and patience into. Okay, so more erasing, more shading needs to happen. I think black dogs and white dogs are probably the hardest to do, since, you know, you gotta get the shadows and stuff while also making sure that they just don't look pure white or pure black. Because everybody's got shading, no matter what skin tone or fur tone they have. Let's see, so down here at the chest level, just gonna give her like some kind of curviness here. Break through. And there's some kind of highlight happening over here. It's important for the face to match the chest and at a certain extent, because even though the chest is super dark, the face should reflect the similarities. And so, let's see, those eyes, they're not quite up to my happiness level yet. Let's see, get that ebony pencil. And it's like real dark around these highlights from the light outside. And then a little shading, a little lighter on the outside. And then this eye on the right side, there's a lot of darkness, but there's also a lot of highlight. Almost like there's a ring, but in order for that to happen, there needs to be some little edges to it. And then to show that the hair is covering, it's important to show hairlines. And then that eyebrow seems quirked up even more than I originally made it, and that darkness goes further down. And there's more here and into her ear. And then I'm gonna go into the hair from the body so it seems more like curly kinda, because really it's sort of not like there's no control to the hair. It's sort of like it's wiry and it's kind of all over the place and needs a little more shadow on that side. But there's so much white on the actual cheek part. And then there's way more black down here. So, though Stella is one of my favorite dogs, I don't feel like I've done her justice in her beauty and handsomeness. But I think that I can call this finished. We're not always going to love the work that we do, but at some point it's time to let go of our perfectionist tendencies and just realize that we're doing the best that we can. So there we have Miss Stella for a good friend of mine. And that took me an hour and a half to do. So if you watched the whole thing, then you also watched an hour and a half of video. But maybe now you know a little bit about shading and drawing and how to start a drawing, which can be the most difficult thing. Every drawing starts with geometric shapes and a little bit of line work. You don't start with the details unless you want to. I mean, if that's your style, that's your style. But for me, it's hard for me to not start out with the basics and move up from there. Plus, as an educator, that's what I've taught all of my students how to do, and it just makes things easier for me. It's always nice when you add some stippling to the nose, because the nose is a little bumpy. And voila. I think that captured her personality pretty well. Thank you for watching. If you watched this the whole time, I'm amazed. Otherwise, have a wonderful time doing some pet portraiture.